Good morning, and this is day 5 of our 2-point perspective project. First day we drew our own interpretation. Second day we started with a hollow form. Third day we drew an assortment of different boxes. Yesterday we actually got back to drawing a city, and today I'm going to give the assignment like this. If you feel like you understand this process, you can feel free to draw your own city with 4 buildings that you can see the top of, that you can see 2 sides of, and that has windows and doors and an environment around it. If you want to follow along, you're welcome to follow along and work on the activity that I'm going to show you today. So take a moment and think, do I feel confident enough to come up with my own design, or do I need to still follow along with the tutorial? Remember, if you do your own design, if you have the vanishing points way high up on the page, the building, the first vertical line that you draw needs to be well below where the vanishing points are so that you can see the top of it. That's the trick to it. Then we are only going to use vertical lines, and if it's not a vertical line, it's a line that points to a vanishing point. Those are the rules. If you stick to those rules, you're welcome to try your own designs, or if you need a little bit more tutoring, we can work on this 4-building cityscape together. So let's get started. Okay, again, I'm going to try and keep my hands out of the way and go slow. I want you to remember that if we draw a horizon line and put our vanishing points on the horizon line, we should do that right close to the top of the page. So there's the top of my page, right up here, and my vanishing points are on either side. So the first step was to draw a vertical line, and then once you draw a vertical line, we need to connect the top and the bottom of the vertical line to the vanishing points. So let's get these lined up here. Draw lightly. I'm drawing darker so you can see it on the screen. So we've got 1/2 of it done. Now we need to do the other half. See, we know it's done when there's a triangle. So this side is going to be lined up with the vanishing point at the top of the vertical line and at the bottom. So I've got my 2 triangles pointing to the vanishing point. Now I'm going to draw a vertical line that shows where is the end of this building. So I'm going to line up my ruler with my first line and try and just slide it over. I'm not trying to change the angle of it. And I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm going to do the other side of the building. I want to decide where that ends. It's going to go further back. And I'm going to draw another vertical line. So before, when we drew our vertical lines, the top and the bottom had to point to the vanishing point, and this side already does. But the top of this vertical line doesn't point to this vanishing point yet. So I'm going to draw that across, and I'm only going to go a ways, but I did have it lined up with my vanishing point here. And the top of this vertical line lines up with this vanishing point, so I've got to now draw it to that vanishing point. And that is the end of that shape. That one's done. Now I'm also going to take these lines out because I don't need them. And in all honesty, this one's going to be in the way, so I'm going to take that one out. So now I'm going to draw another vertical line, and I'm going to put it not connected to the building that I just finished. This one I'm going to draw a little bit taller than the last one. And then remember, we have to connect the top to both vanishing points and the bottom to both vanishing points. But I'm not going to draw through this building, I'm just going to draw up to it. So I'm going to draw up to it and stop. And then on this side, I'm going to draw past it. I think this one's going to go, well, it's going to stop somewhere behind that building. So I'm going to stop it there. So that's where I need to draw the vertical line that represents the back of this new building. So now I've got this block going through, it looks like it's going through a plane. But now I've got to draw the top of that vertical line to this vanishing point, and I'm going to do that lightly. And I'll go back in and redraw it. I'm going to draw the bottom to the vanishing point. And now I'm going to decide where this building ends. I'm going to line up with my vertical line and try and slide it evenly over here. That's where it's going to end. Now I can go back in and redraw the bottom and the top darker. And then I can take out these lighter lines that I put in. So now we've put in two new vertical lines that both have to point to the vanishing points, and we know this one already points this way. So now we need to do it this way. I'm just going to draw it most of the way. Then this is the other vertical line that we drew, and it's pointing to this side already, so now we need to go to this side. and draw it that way. Okay, we have two building shapes in here already. And why not go for another one a little bit lower? But this one can be shorter, and we're only going to see part of this. So if we draw our line to the vanishing point this way, it's going to stop behind that building. If we draw it this way, I'm going to draw it lightly. Right here. And then the bottom of the building, we're going to put our line going back to the vanishing point. And I'm going to kind of end it in the area where this line stops. And this one can stop right at that building. So we've got our corner of the building. We've got to decide how far over this building's going to go. Let's bring it out to here. Draw a vertical line. Then erase the extra we don't need. That would have really helped if I drew lighter in the first place, but I did not. So we have two sides of this building, but we can't see the top yet. So let's work on this outside side. I'm going to draw it in that direction, but, well, I'll draw it lightly the rest of the way. And then we have to decide how far back this building is going to go. I've kind of already predetermined by drawing the line only dark up to this point. That's where it ends. And we won't see the back corner of this building at all. So we'll just see where it overlaps the building next to it. So now we've got three. 1, 2, 3. Easy peasy. And the last one. Let's do this one a little bit further over and shorter. That might make it look like it's further away. So remember, we got to draw the top and the bottom to the vanishing points. And this one's going to go way up. You should not have any stray lines that don't point at a vanishing point. This is going to seem very strange, this building that's so close to the vanishing points. But that does not mean that it is not correct. It'll make sense the more you work on it and the further along we build it. So I'm going to slide this ruler to the side, try and keep that nice and vertical. And then I'm going to slide it to the side this way, try and keep it nice and vertical. And there's the end of that. So now I can take this little extra tail off. So we've drawn these two vertical lines here, and those need to point to both vanishing points. Well, this one already is pointing this way, so we need to point it that way. And then this one is already pointing to this vanishing point. We can follow the line, so we need to point it to this one. And now we can take these lines off. All right. So now it's just a simple matter of putting windows and doors on these buildings. And the windows can be nothing more than just stripes lined up with the vanishing point. So I'm going to start with the second building we drew. And this